What is up, guys? This is Jared Spalding here, and today I'm going to be creating a video for you that's a little overdue, and that of course is how rich will you become silver investing? So this is probably a question asked more by beginners who are just getting into it, people who haven't actually started investing yet, or if they have, they haven't really put too much money into it yet. So to answer your question, there's a few different things to say on the topic. First of all, the more money you have, generally, the more money you can gain, but that's not always true. Now, if somebody has $100,000, they'll probably be able to make more than somebody who has $100 put into it. So that is where it's true, but it's not always this way. Because, you see, you can invest wisely with a smaller amount of money and make more than someone with more money than you. Someone who put more money into it than you did. But I'm going to go through a few different types of silver investing and how much potential they really have. Now, bullion, there's two different types of bullion, okay? There's generic bullion, and then there's things like proofs and things like that. Now, generic bullion, all of its potential relies on the fact that, not even the fact necessarily, but the thought that silver is going to go up in value. See, people are hoping it's a fact, and a lot of people think it is, but remember, that's all circumstantial. You're kind of just assuming it's going to go up in value. And while silver has positively trended, generally over the course of history, it's going up, has a positive trend in value. This is not always the case. Such as, take right now, for example, silver is at a pretty low price compared to what it's been before. Now, what this means is that silver is not the most reliable thing. It's more reliable, sure, than, per se, the stock market, but it's still not the most reliable thing in the world. Now, silver currently sits at just $13.98 an ounce, 2 cents below $14 an ounce. So it's below that point right now, which is extremely low considering the fact that silver in this decade has been at over $50 an ounce, and just 2 years ago was trending at the $22 to $24 an ounce range for quite some time. And it's been plateaued at this really low price for quite some time now, over a year really. It's been going down for well over a year, that is, and this means that you're not always going to be certain whether or not silver is going to be going up in value. You're kind of just making I don't want to say an assumption, but that's really what it boils down to, is you're assuming silver will go up. I do believe silver values are going to go up, but you have to remember it takes some time. It doesn't just, overnight go up, but all of generic bullion's potential relies on silver going up and down, so how rich you become off of that is directly linked to the price of silver. There's no indirect linking, it's just that's it. And usually the premium will carry over a little bit with it, but you'll lose a little bit of premium if silver goes up a lot in value, although generic bullion doesn't have too much of a premium. Now I'm going to go over what does, and that is all your proofs and your limited mintage series, stuff like that. Now this stuff carries insane premiums. I'm talking about stuff that might carry a 55, or maybe might cost $55 or $60 when silver's worth, $14. Now that is absolutely insane in my opinion. I personally think that I wouldn't want to buy that kind of stuff because I'm buying for pure amount of silver, and of course the thought on this one is that silver is going, the pieces themselves, the premium on them is going to go, well up over the next years. As let's say pieces are lost in the mail, some are damaged, but yours will be in mint condition, so yours will be worth more. And of course, this is true to an extent. However, in the event that silver value doubles in a year, let's say, silver becomes really scarce. Let's say there's a silver shortage. In a year, the silver value doubles, and it probably go up even more than that, a shortage. But let's just say like we're having a problem with silver, and the value doubles. Okay, in a scenario like this, your pieces aren't going to mean anything because your premium isn't carrying over if silver doubles instantly, alright? It takes time for these premiums to go up on these pieces. And frankly, if silver is going up rapidly, people want to buy all the silver they can. They don't want your pieces because yours are still going to have that, $40 premium on them. They're going to want to buy generic bullion. And it's going to be much harder to sell something of yours if the prices are rapidly increasing on silver itself. And if it doubles from what it is right now, your piece will only go from being worth $65 to maybe $80, as opposed to a 4-ounce piece, which could be, if you paid $65 for it, let's say you even only paid $60 for it. If you know some people, that would be go up to be worth $120, and it's going to be much more desirable than your pieces because yours can't be melted down without losing a lot of the value of it. So yours are going to be a lot harder to sell in a scenario like this if you have this kind of thing, and they're not going to, the value of them is not going to carry over, the premium's not on them. So you're going to be losing a lot of money on something like that due to the fact that, or not even losing money necessarily, because you'll still keep the premium that's on there, but you're going to be losing potential money that you could have made buying generic. But neither one of these has nearly as much potential as numismatic. Now, numismatic pieces, see, the potential in them is much different than bullion. They don't only rely on the value of silver or their high premiums. See, they rely on actual real numismatic value that's been established for a very long time. Now, you see, these desirable proof pieces and stuff are only valuable because people are saying they're valuable. They're saying it because maybe they have a low mintage or something, but they're always going to be around. They're going to be made every year, a different part of the series, and frankly, anyone can make as many as they want of them. However, these numismatic pieces aren't being made anymore. These numismatically valuable coins are such low mintage, or whatever they are, that makes them valuable. So, here's a good example of a difference between them. For one, these pieces that you're going to be buying are, like the proofs, are already going to be in perfect condition. Finding a coin in this perfect condition would make you a millionaire. These pieces are never going to make you that much. For one, and for two, these coins can be found in varying conditions, and they're accessible to many different people, from the highest end of coin dealers to somebody just trying to get into it. This numismatic value, And there's another fact. You can actually get good deals on these kind of coins. See, all these proofs and stuff are always going to sell what they're going to sell for, even at an auction. But, as you've seen from me, buying numismatic pieces, in auctions, you can often find good deals on stuff that's a little bit different than the norm, but still holds a lot of value. For example, I paid, I don't remember the exact amount, I would have to look at it, hold on. So I guess eBay got rid of it because I just went on there and looked, and it only had my next purchase and up. So I guess they got rid of it after being too long. It was probably a month ago by now that I ordered this, but it was an 1801 Spanish coin. I'll use that coin as one of the ones in the thumbnail, but I paid like $8 for it when the coin can sell for upwards of $50. So, and it's just because people didn't know what it was, for one, and for two, I came in at the right time and bid, on it when not too many other people were looking at it. And I made sure at the very end I secured it by setting a max bid of $10, the last couple seconds there, so nobody could outbid me in time. So I kind of avoided the whole bidding war thing, and I got it for a good deal. Another example, and I remember the exact price I paid for this, was an 1832 Barber half dollar. Is it Barber? An 1832 half dollar, United States, of course, and I paid $42.45 for it when the coin can go for upwards of $100. In the condition that mine's in, at least, it can. So my point being here that there's a lot of potential in this numismatic world, and these pieces are guaranteed to go up in value because here, let me go over this. For one, they're guaranteed to go up in value because they only become rare over time, just like the other pieces, the proofs, but also they're protected, let's say, if silver value goes down. And you might think, well, wait, these coins, people, they're more desirable because they're silver. Well, of course, but you probably, if you're a serious investor, know that the most valuable United States coin is not silver at all. It's the 1913 V nickel. Only 5 of them were ever made, of course, making it super rare, but it's worth millions to get one of these coins. Another super valuable coin is the 1944 steel cent / 1943 copper cent. One of these coins went for upwards of $1 million, $1.2 million to be exact, when it was sold at auction. So neither one of these coins are silver, yet they hold extreme value. And that's because of the fact that they are, even when silver price crashes, or if it crashes, let me say, not when. I'm not going to predict anything because I don't know what's going to go on with that. But even if it did crash, these coins still hold numismatic value. To give you another good example, a 1921 mercury dime, let's say. And this is an example of a silver piece with a lot of value in it. If the silver price crashes and silver were not worth nothing for some reason, the coin is only worth $1 in silver melt value. So that's a couple dollars less, maybe. I'm not going to say $1 less because now silver's worth nothing. It's a couple dollars less, but it's still a rare piece. Now, the only problem with numismatics, of course, is the same problem that proofs suffer from, and that is in a insane silver price increase situation, people only want generic bullion and one other type of silver I'm going to go over right now. That is, of course, junk constitutional silver. This is by far, I believe, the best investment for someone looking for the most silver they can get out of a situation, because this bullion stuff carries a premium. Junk silver will carry a premium usually, but you can avoid it. A good example is I paid $50 for 60 silver nickels, which right now looks like a premium. Of course, when I was buying it, they were worth a little bit over $50. I also just ordered 25 mercury dimes for, I think, what was it? Like $26, I want to say. It was like $27, including shipping. $27.32, I think. And that's around melt value for the coins, but also remember, I'm paying melt value for them when the price is at an all-time low for the past several years. Not, of course, like for all time or something, but of this era, the 2000s, like probably the past decade, I would think, has been the lowest price we've seen. Prices were around this point when the stock market crashed, so that puts silver at an extreme low. And silver really can only go up from here. If it goes down to like 12 something an ounce, that would be insane. But silver usually recovers. It always recovers from these price drops, and then all of a sudden, if silver were to double, I've got double what I had before. But not only that, but as silver goes up and up, this what was once considered junk all of a sudden will carry numismatic value, because any silver coin will carry numismatic value, because it will be made rarer by the fact that all of the silver coins are being melted down, because you're buying them for a little bit under melt, and now they're going to be worth more because they're going to be rare. Like a gold coin, for example. Pretty much any gold coin will be worth a little bit over melt. Not all of them are worth much over melt, but at least a little bit. And that's, if silver were to see the same prices anytime ever, then so much silver would be melted down so rapidly that the coins would carry a little bit numismatic value, as well as carrying whatever silver content value they had. So, to answer the question, how rich can you become from silver investing? Well, let me recap here for you. From generic bullion, you can only become as rich as the silver price goes up. Like, the more silver price goes up, the richer you become, but generally off of those, that's completely determined by the value of silver. Off of these proofs, limited mintage stuff, you only become really as rich as the premium allows. I'll go over some pros and cons of each actually. So generic bullion's easily stackable, usually pay only a little bit over mil, and generally it will go up with silver prices. It's very compact, very easily stacked, like I was saying. Cons are that its only value is the silver value in it, and it relies on silver prices going up to become valuable, making it really risky for a short-term investor, especially considering how unreliable silver prices can really be. Now, these proofs, some pros of them is that the premium, you'll never lose the premium on them. If anything, the premium will grow over time. Also, they're very unique pieces, so the more expensive they are, the harder they're going to be to get hold of. So you're buying what rich people want, and rich people are the ones with money who are willing to pay a lot for these pieces. So if the piece becomes extraordinarily rare, you could have something worth hundreds on your hands. But some cons here are that it doesn't really move with the price of silver because of the premium on it. You'll get less out of it than you would of anything else really, and its value is very just based on what people say it's worth because of being low minted, but similar pieces are made every year, so it's only worth what people are willing to pay for it. Now, so to get to the next piece we're going to be recapping here, which of course is numismatic pieces. Those, some pros of them is that you can often find good deals on them if you know where to look. They go up in value in times they're not being made anymore, so the chances of a bunch of them being discovered are extremely rare. Slim to none, I'd say, and they move up in value with silver prices a little bit, but not enough to really put that as a pro probably. But if silver price crashes, most of these coins will still hold value because they still hold numismatic value. Now, some cons, of course, is that they really don't move with silver prices, just like the proofs. They do a little bit, but it's really not enough to be getting a bunch of money out of it. That's not why you're buying it. And some other cons is that, like the proofs, they're only worth what people are willing to pay. It's not like silver where you have a set determined value, and that is what it has to be worth, because someone's always willing to pay that much for it. These numismatic pieces are only worth what people will pay for them. And in a extreme silver situation, no one's going to be buying these things just like the proofs because they want a bunch of silver to melt down. Now, junk silver, the pros of that is that you can buy it sometimes for a little bit under melt value. It moves completely with the price of silver. It's determined, it's determined by that, the value of this. And in the event that pieces start getting melted down, silver coins could be worth a little bit more numismatically, and these once considered junk could have numismatic value in the future due to the fact that so many US silver coins are melted down and no more are being produced. And of course, the biggest pro of all is that you're getting the most silver for your money out of any of these. Now, some cons. I really can't think of too many cons out of here, but the coins can be fake. That's, of course, it's the same for numismatic goods, but they could be, someone could be producing ones that they're claiming are silver, but are really not, although who would go to the trouble to sell a diamond for $1? So, that's really a pro also, is that it's protected from fake, unlike bullion and numismatic. People aren't usually going to go to the trouble for junk. So, I can't really think of any cons for it, other than the fact that you can get easily ripped off on it if you don't know what to buy. So, in short, silver, you can only become as rich off of silver as you want to be, I guess. Not that you want to be, but as you'll become, the more work you put in, the richer you'll become, I guess you could say. But I hope you've enjoyed this video and found it useful. And that's it for now. Peace, love, and much respect.